What's up, y'all? It looks like we're live. Let me go ahead and throw these headphones on right quick. Welcome back to the Unstuck sessions. This is the live stream. We normally do these on Tuesday. Today's episode, I'm going to condense nonsense. We're going to do a little bit of housekeeping, then I'm going to dive into the Unstuck book list. So that's what I got. I got a couple of updates, and then we will start listing the books. And it's I'm kind of foreseeing a series or actually go into in-depth book reviews. I'm going to kind of gauge how y'all respond to this one. So that's what I got on today's episode. What I'm going to do is I'm going to roll the graphics and we'll get started. All right, what's going on, y'all? Back to burn. It's Brian, and I am back with another Unstuck live stream. For those that don't know, Unstuck is kind of the brainchild of myself and my wife, Brandy. We own a marketing agency, and we really wanted to get back into consulting, but we wanted to offer a different flavor on consulting. And so really, we wanted to do marketing consulting that was a little bit different than what normally happens. More times than not, when you meet with a consultant, you end up, or a coach, if you will, because that's kind of the angle we're moving more towards. You end up with a laundry list of full of to-do items. And as a business owner, or even somebody who's starting out, or if you're running your own nonprofit agency or whatnot, that laundry list can be really overwhelming in the sea of other tasks that you have to do on a day-to-day basis. And so the Unstuck sessions really is an opportunity for us to laser focus on one big log jam and move it out of your way and see what else flows around it. And so that's what the entire concept of the Unstuck sessions is. And as such, we're doing a little bit of housekeeping, changing up a few things with what we're doing. And so first things first, I'll get into the housekeeping, then I'll get into the books. The housekeeping we're doing is I am going through the What's the Business podcast YouTube channel, and I'm probably going to reconfigure that into just a general I Sell Words YouTube channel. And that will be home to all of our content regarding business and marketing. The podcast feature on YouTube is a great addition, and it helps us create playlists that are designated for special podcasts. And we can kind of just make sure that we mark them as podcasts, and YouTube will treat them as individual podcasts. I'm saying all that to say this. So What's the Business? We're going to take that podcast. We're still going to do it, but it's going to be a little bit more infrequent because we really want to focus on getting the right business owners into the chair so that we can really get into the nuts and bolts and talk about the not so glamorous aspects of being an entrepreneur, running your own business or agency. And we want to laser focus the conversation on entrepreneurship in that regard, and being, the day-to-day grind, if you will. We're starting a related podcast called Unstuck, and that's where we're going to be handling a lot of marketing concepts, teaching y'all some of the dirty tricks of a digital marketer, teaching y'all how to set up cameras and do all the other marketing stuff so that if you don't have a big budget, you can DIY some stuff. And that's what that channel is going to be. We're also going to be solving problems. So we're going to be answering questions and things along those lines regarding being stuck in your business. And so that's what the new podcast is. I got the domain and everything. I just got to set the graphics up, and we'll be ready to start recording that. And I'm going to import a lot of the marketing tips and things like that about how to do copywriting and how to write killer ads and the Facebook versus Google ads and all that other stuff. I'm going to be importing those videos over to, a separate playlist that's just about marketing tips. So it's not a big, huge change. It's just kind of rebranding and moving things around in my mind so that I can better represent what I want my agency to be. So that's what I'm working on over this weekend, in addition to some client projects. So today, books, the Unstuck Book Club. I've been wanting to do a marketing book club for a while. And I've finally decided, it's either get this thing rolling or put the idea and mothball it, put it away and mothball it. And so I decided we're going to get this thing rolling. So on today's episode, I'm going to run down a list of books, and it's not an all-inclusive list. I'm probably going to be doing this in multiple parts because I am a big old nerd about ebooks and physical books and stuff like that. And I'm going to share books that can help you get unstuck relative to where you are in your entrepreneurship journey, or even just your business development journey. If you're a manager, this is a big one. If you're a manager, or you find yourself suddenly in charge of kind of directing traffic to other people, there's some soft skills you need to learn, and some of these books can actually help you out because there is no real manager handbook. And so the real lanes that this book club is going to benefit is going to be business owners, people that run nonprofit agencies, people that are entering management or are kind of in that middle management phase and stuff like that. And so that's how I've determined what books I want to put on this initial list. There's going to be follow-up lists. And ideally, the next step is we're going to take these books and I'm actually going to review them on the live stream, bring on guests. We can kind of do that thing. And let me know if that's something you're interested in. Give me a like or something. Let me know if you'd be interested in a business and marketing book club. And I'll kind of cultivate the books myself to talk about which ones actually have actionable information in them. So that's what I got. So let me go ahead and dive into this. All right. The very first book, and I started reading this when I was still working at a childcare agency. This is my second or third management job. And I was really kind of looking at the front door on this one and saying, I think my time with this is kind of ending. The book I would recommend the most is The Personal MBA by Josh Kaufman. The reason why I'm recommending The Personal MBA by Josh Kaufman is this. It takes a lot of the knowledge that you will find in MBA programs and distills it and condenses it down to a book. And it cuts out a lot of the fluff and a lot of the other stuff that doesn't necessarily apply. It teaches you formulas, how to determine how much it costs to acquire a client, amortization, and all these other things, all this other business jargon that you actually need to kind of know a little bit to get your feet wet and be proficient as a business owner. It teaches you all of it. It teaches you how to calculate what your overhead is and all kinds of other things that you really, really, really need to know. Well, how to figure in overhead in terms of other calculations and things like that. It just gives you a basic toolkit to be successful. It doesn't tell you exactly what to do, but it gives you the different pricing strategies and some marketing strategies. It covers a lot of ground to be such, a pretty easy read to get through. And it really breaks it down in a methodology in a way that makes it easy to digest for somebody who's not familiar with business jargon. And a lot of times I see a lot of people talking about, they're going to go back to school, they're going to go, get their MBA and stuff like that. I challenge you, and I'm not saying this book is a complete replacement for an MBA program, I'll be honest with you, but a lot of the stuff that you're going to need on a day-to-day basis as a business owner is contained within this book. The formulas, and I know there are a lot of business owners that are nerds like me that sit around and watch shows like Shark Tank and stuff like that, and removing all the dramatic flair that they have in them. When they're asking about, well, how much does it cost to acquire a customer? And you watch people stumble and fumble. This book gives you the actual equations that you need to figure out that cost. And so you can have intelligent conversations about your business. I highly recommend it. Can't recommend it enough. It's the book that I was already kind of looking at business ownership, but it gave me some foundational knowledge to run with. And so that's one that I can recommend off the top. It's called The Personal MBA by Josh Kaufman. All right. Next on the list, and I got a whole list typed out here. They're not in any particular order, so I'm trying to put them in order of how you probably need to read them. The next one I would probably recommend in order, and then the ones after this aren't in order. But the next one I recommend is The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. some of it is a little bit antiquated, but it gives you really solid knowledge about. If you've ever heard the phrase working on your business instead of working in your business, that's the E myth, and that's where that came from. Um, the E myth really allows you to, sit down, and it gives you a look behind the curtain of successful business models. And Michael Gerber's philosophy, personally, is building a business, of course, building a business that other people want to buy. That's how you kind of determine a good business. Even if you never intend to sell it, a business that other people want to buy is a good business. Um, but looking at the franchise models that McDonald's kind of mastered and things like that, and it really distills it and breaks it down for you to understand the concept of, working in your business as an employee versus working on your business as an owner, and teaches you the step by steps, and talks about the importance of developing your systems. It talks about the importance of having an employee handbook and uniform and all these other things, and basically teaching your staff step by step how you do everything so that they can almost replace you on the floor, and you can go off and do the elements and the planning and all the other things that allow your business to grow. It gives you a really good perspective on developing your staff. And the reason why I want to emphasize that is, for managers, I recommend the E Myth more than, even business owners. If you manage people, my advice is you need to train the person under you to do your job, because that will make your life a lot easier. A lot of people get into the scarcity mindset that they got this job, and if I train the people under me to do what I can do, then I'll be replaced. It enhances your job, it enhances your performance, because you know that you can step away from an aspect or delegate aspects of your role, and it's going to get done the way that you need it to be done, and you're not going to have to worry about it. So the E Myth by Michael Gerber is great for starting out business owners, but it's also fantastic for somebody who's newly in a management position. I can't recommend it enough. And so, again, following up, if you guys are interested, leave me a like. Let me know if you guys want me to take deeper dives into some of these books and actually go into reviews and things along those lines. Again, I really do want to start up a book club, so I'll see how this thing goes. All right. E Myth, Michael Gerber, amazing book, great for managers and business owners. Now, as you start to get your hands a little bit dirty, get your hands into the grind of the book, into the grind of running a business. There's a couple of books here that can kind of help you out. The Conversion Code by Chris Smith. I'm actually rereading this book right now. It is basically one of the best books on digital marketing that I've ever read. And I'm saying that, and I don't say that stuff lightly. And I've read a lot of books about digital marketing. This is probably one of the best books on digital marketing I've ever read, because it gives you actionable information, things that you can actually use and implement right now. And if you've read enough business books, there's a lot of business books that give you ideas and concepts, but they don't tell you the next steps to take. This one actually does. It actually tells you, try this, optimize, do this on your website, do this with your emails. It actually tells you what to do. And that's a godsend as a business owner. Having a book that actually says, okay, this is what you need to do physically is very helpful. And yeah, learning the concepts is great, but this actually takes it a step further and tells you how to implement it. Very important. I can't recommend it enough. Matter of fact, this is like my third or fourth time going back and rereading this book. It's a game changer for a digital marketer, and I haven't found any. I first got it maybe about 5 years ago. I haven't found any book that replicates the information that was contained in the Conversion Code by Chris Smith. I haven't found one. So if you want a marketing book that will tell you exactly what to do, go get the Conversion Code. It's on Audible. Can't recommend it enough. They just released the updated edition that has all the new stuff in it from things that have happened since 2015, 2016 when the book was initially made. Can't recommend it enough. Go check it out. But that's where you're starting to get your hands into the business element of it. Another one along the lines of this: if you're going to be running a business and doing your own marketing, you have to learn how to write sales copy. Sales copy is ads and things that are meant to convert customers. Writing messaging to your customer is very important. This is an OG book. This is an old school book, and it's done by one of the godfathers, what they consider direct response marketing. And I'm gonna follow down the line. I'm follow down the rabbit hole for response marketing because another recommendation falls in that line. But is one of the godfathers of it, of the modern direct response marketing. And direct response marketing is basically getting your audience to raise their hand and marketing directly to them, infomercials and the like. So Dan Kennedy wrote a book called The Ultimate Sales Letter and basically breaks down how to write an ad. Now, this is for sales letter. This is longer form sales copy, but you can absolutely take it for shorter form social media posts and things along those lines. It teaches you some of the foundations of writing to sell. And Dan Kennedy has a couple of different books that are going to be on this list, but I would start with the Ultimate Sales Letter. There's another one if you're looking to become somebody who's on the speaking circuit. It's called Book the Business. It's about writing your own book and kind of using your book as a business card to book gigs to speak and present. And there's a lot of money on that circuit if you know what you're talking about. And then he also has the entire No BS series. And I'll be honest with you, the first couple of No BS marketing books are pretty good, but they start to get redundant, and there's a lot of them. They come out all the time. But the one I want to point to specifically for our purposes, Unstuck, is the No BS Guide to Marketing to the Affluent. The reason why I'm pointing out this specific book is it teaches you the concept of the client avatar to know exactly who you are selling to. Now, I'll preface all this by saying, Dan Kennedy, you got to, the thing that you got to watch out with Dan Kennedy is he doesn't really hide his political ideology that much, and he's really pretty straightforward with it. So don't be scared off by the politics and all the other stuff. There's some solid information in there, and he kind of uses that as that's kind of how he designed his client avatar, because he realized that most of his clients were, let's be honest, most of his clients were conservative, middle-aged white dudes, and so that's who he tailors a lot of his stuff towards, and that's what he speaks to in his books. But those parts you can skip through them; they're not really vital information. You can get to the real good information that actually is worth it and not even have to hear any of that stuff. But those books, The Ultimate Sales Letter, Book the Business, and the No BS Guide to Marketing to Affluent, can't recommend those enough. All these books, I think, are on Audible if you are ebook, if ebooks are the way you go. I will normally have an ebook running. And I used to have, one or two ebooks and then maybe a couple physical books. As things ratcheted up with the businesses, I haven't had as much energy to go back into my physical books, but I'm getting back into reading and I'm trying to rebuild the habit. So anyway, those are books I recommend. The next one along the line of the direct response marketing is called it's called Buy Now by Rick Cesari and Ron Lynch. Rick Cesari is the guy behind the George Foreman grill. He created that entire campaign, all the way down to branding it the George Foreman grill and bringing George Foreman in as a spokesperson for it. He's done Proactive. He's done the Juice Man Juicer. Like, he is the mastermind behind all of those infomercials. And infomercials are a form of direct response marketing because the people that the product allows people to identify themselves as people who are interested, and then gives them a phone number to call to facilitate the purchase. But it gives you a good idea on how they gauge the market, how they test interest, and how these things are how these commercials are produced, which is really important if you are presenting your product online and expecting somebody to buy it. It gives you a lot of great details about the thought process that goes into these kind of things. And even talks about, when TV, kind of gives you an idea of how to buy TV ad time or radio ad time and things like that. Um, a lot of good, solid information. He's done the Orange Glow. He was a friend of the OxyClean guy, and he also came up with the campaign. And so, Buy It Now by Rick Cesari and Ron Lynch, very, very good book if you want to learn how to make videos and stuff to advertise your products. Um, I can't recommend it enough. Get you into the thought process of people who produce these big budget commercials. And there are things that you can actually do, especially with the advent of all this free media that you can actually just use. You can actually create something and broadcast it to millions for little to no cost. This book is imperative if you're running a business. It teaches you how to message your business for consumption on social media and traditional kind of television and things along those lines. Can't recommend it enough. Let's see. If you want to get back into the other aspects of digital marketing, where we're talking about building out mailing lists and using social media to connect with potential clients and really building an audience for yourself, because that's where a lot of business is done. When you build an audience of people that are listening to you as the expert, and then they want to enlist your services to solve problems. The one, and I'm gonna preface this by saying there's a lot of salesy stuff in here, but the Secrets trilogy by Russell Brunson, where it's .com secrets, traffic secrets, and expert secrets, very good information, very good actionable information. Of course, a lot of it's going to have upsells to his baby, which was ClickFunnels. And ClickFunnels is a good tool. I don't really use it that much. It's not intuitive for me. And that's just because the ADHD brain kicks in and there's so many options it can overwhelm. But a lot of businesses and a lot of online businesses have made a lot of money using Russell's products and following his methodology, and his stuff transfers. It translates to other aspects where you don't have to use ClickFunnels to understand what he's talking about. He is the one that really advanced some of the idea of traffic that you own versus traffic that you lease. Traffic that you own are people have given you their information to be on mailing lists and things along those lines. Traffic that you lease is Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and all these social media platforms. You don't necessarily own those connections because they could shut down your account at any time and you'll lose all those connections. But if you have people on a mailing list that you can constantly reach out to with your messaging and with your marketing, you own that traffic. And you can put it anywhere, and it allows you to restart anywhere. And so he talks about the importance of building your audience, capturing their information, providing them good value, and designing a product for them. He also gets into doing webinars and seminars and things along those lines. He teaches you how to actually implement it. The concept that I learned from him that stuck with me was, if you're doing a webinar, seminar for a product, it could be an information-based product, maybe a book that you've written that teaches people how to do stuff. You want to have that webinar and do it the exact same way for almost 6 months. And then you're taking the feedback of the people that attend that webinar, and then you're building it into the webinar so that you can really fine tune your presentation. But you're presenting the same topic, exactly the same way for 6 months so that you can really, in weightlifting, you build up your calluses on your hands, and building up your calluses allows you to lift more weights, makes your hands a little bit more rugged. It's kind of building up your calluses. It gets your repetitions in. But Russell, it can be a little bit salesy, and I'll be honest with you. Like I said, but the reality of it is good, solid, actionable, real information. And you can take and leave the other sales stuff. If you have a product or service that you want to sell and you don't have a website or anything, ClickFunnels is great. Like I said, it's just hard for me to turn my brain off on some aspects of it. And just kind of go by the flow. But ClickFunnels allows you to build a sales funnel, a sales page really fast. And people have made a lot of money on ClickFunnels and built out a lot of email lists on ClickFunnels. So it is what it is. Just keep in mind, you can avoid the sales pitches, but really get into the information that he gives you. But yeah, that entire line of products, that Russell has, his digital products, his books are really good. I would start with .com secrets, then you go to traffic secrets, and then go to expert secrets. That's just how I would flow. .com secrets focuses more on the concept of building the web page and the digital marketing aspect. Traffic secrets, really about cultivating your audience and figuring out where your clients are online and really selling to them in that space. And expert secrets kind of puts everything all together, and teaches you the whole big bag. But I can recommend those 3 books. The last one I'm going to probably list here today is one that I've read recently. And it's more for creative professionals, but anybody can really use it. It's called the Win Without Pitching Manifesto. And that's when I've talked to my boy Les from Les is More Productions. I wanted to do more of a conversation between me and him on this one, because this really gives you an idea about pricing strategy and how to communicate the value of your service to clients, and it basically is kind of the win without pitching thing. It's where it's a bit of value-based pricing, and value-based pricing is kind of controversial in the creative space now, because there's a lot of people that are proponents of it. There are people that say that it's all a pipe dream. I think that there's somewhere in the middle where you can kind of meet in the middle. Value-based pricing basically says, I'm going to price this based on the value that it creates for you, as opposed to a certain, this service costs $750. Like, how much value does this thing create potentially for you as a business owner? Okay, if I could scrape off or extract 1% of that value, that's the price of the thing I'm creating for you. That's kind of what the concept is. It allows you to think about, even if you don't go by value-based pricing, which a lot of us cannot do. It's not feasible for us where we are in our business. We can start taking steps towards pricing based on our value, pricing based on the value that we're creating for the business owner. It allows you to reframe and think about your pricing as a business owner in a different way. And I'm a huge proponent of, looking at things through a different lens, and really evaluating how much you create in terms of value for people. Because you may be ranking your services as, oh, you're only comparing them against what your competitors are doing and things along those lines. I'm looking at it like you get a chance to look at it from how much does your service, how much value does your service create in the life of the person that buys it? It sounds weird, but it's a different way to think about it. If you run a restaurant, you're thinking about cost of food and staff and overhead and all this other stuff. People are coming in for experiences. I'm not talking about like a McDonald's or anything. And sometimes it can be a McDonald's or Chuck E. Cheese. People are paying for the experience of dining out. And sometimes if you're able to meet that experience, they'll be willing to pay you more relative to what your competitors are. If you're able to provide an experience that your competitors are not able to, people will pay more. You're paying for the memories. That's why people splurge on vacation. They're paying for the experience and the memories. And so that's why vacation hotspots always have all the prices marked up through the roof, because people are actually paying for the experience and not really tethered to any kind of price. They're not anchored to a price. That's what the concept is. They're not really anchored to any specific price. That's why Disney World does dumb numbers, because they can charge through the nose for cheap plushies that you can buy anywhere. But people will want to make their kids have a fantastic experience, so they're willing to shell out more money for it. That's just how it works. And so the Win Without Pitching Manifesto kind of teaches you how to base your price, anchor your price relative to the value that you create for another person. Can't recommend it enough. That's probably one of the books I would actually take a deep dive on. There's a couple of other ones out there that I would love to share with you. I need to revise my list a little bit. But if this is something that adds value to you, like specifically what I'm doing right now, and you want to have a deeper conversation about some of these books and hear a little bit of the thought process and hear some of the conversations behind what they talk about, let me know. I would love to actually start a book club of business owners who actually are into the same kind of books that I am. I want to do that, sooner rather than later. So let me know in the comments if that is a piece that you're interested in. I'm going to leave it open here for questions for a little bit. I got a little bit of time before I need to head out. But just leaving it open for questions to see if have any business concerns or anything you want to talk about regarding being stuck in your business. If you can't really figure out who your clients are, if you're in the early stages of figuring out what kind of product you should design, and the who you're going to sell to, these are questions I can help you kind of brainstorm through here. If you're stuck with figuring out what platform to utilize for your marketing, I'm here for that too. But and what I'll do is, since I'm here, I will pull open my Audible and see if I have any additional books that I missed. Again, I'm going to do a follow-up episode, so this is the first of a series of this is going to be the first of a series of many different book related, business book related live streams where we're going to talk about different books and things like that, where I can recommend them along the way. So, but if this has been beneficial to you, give me a like, and just kind of let me know so that I can know that this is something that you guys want to see more of. Waiting for this to pull up. Right now, like I said, I am rereading the conversion code just because there are elements of it that I want to use for redesigning a website for one of my businesses. And so it has a chapter in there that really gets granular about how to optimize, basically how to optimize a website to do business. And it's really kind of a fascinating chapter. And so that's why I'm re-listening to it. I'm probably going to go back to a personal MBA just because that book, I read that a couple times a year just so I can brush up on, I can really brush up on my business acumen. I mean, to be quite honest with you. And some of those, it's easy to forget some of those formulas. And so being able to kind of go back and say, okay, this is how I determine this, is how I figure this out, this is how I figure that out, helps out a ton. So, but those are the books I'm on right now. I recently, I think last summer, I finished Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun, about the first Black billionaire, and kind of told his story. It's a really interesting book. Of course, you're going to be the hero in your own book, but it's one I can lightly recommend. It's more in terms of personal biography as opposed to hard business, but there is some good information in there. All right. Let's see. Yeah, there's a lot of different books I'm probably gonna end up recommending. I'm trying to see off the top of my head if there's any that I missed. $100 Million Offers by Alex Hermosi. Normally, I don't buy books that are just from people that I've seen on YouTube, but this one was a solid book. And Alex has a lot of business, to business experience to lean on. And so he's actually a voice I trust in here. And basically he talks about how you can how to present your offer, how to present your business or what your business is offering, and how to position yourself in your marketplace. It's a really good book. So $100 Million Offers by Alex Hermosi, I would take that one too. I'll probably have a review for that one because that one was really good. There's a couple that are related to social media that I'm probably going to do. Okay, So this one's a little bit off the topic, but not really. Because one of the important elements about creating ads that people want to read is telling a compelling story. And so I do read a lot of books about storytelling. Um, and I've actually, been published. I've been published. I was published when I was a little kid, and I'm always trying to chase that down. So I'm gonna be doing a fiction book here pretty soon. I have one that I keep starting and stopping, and one of these days I'm gonna just bear down and just get it done. But Save the Cat Writes a Novel. It's an amazing book. Save the Cat is basically, it's a book series. Started out with writing screenplays and teleplays, but this one is about writing novels, and it talks about the different formulas of novels, and it uses novels as an example and talks about the different subgenres and how to structure the story and things like that. Really interesting, and it's a great way to learn how to use story structure to communicate ideas. If you're loosely interested in writing, I can recommend that one, and On Writing by Stephen King, which is possibly one of the best books on writing ever written. Um, if you're interested in writing ads or telling stories about your business, those books, any kind of story writing book, screenplay writing book, those books help out a lot. A lot of these skills cross over. And so my book collection is eclectic, be quite honest with you. Let's see. Yeah, I got a lot of different things in here. Some of these are books some of these books are books I've honestly bought, downloaded from Audible, and haven't cracked the spine on yet, or cracked the digital spine on yet. So there's a couple on here. Yeah, I'm just kind of going through. Blue Ocean Shift is a good one. The Blue Ocean strategy is more or less about the concept of there's red oceans and blue oceans. Red oceans are where you have a lot of competitors, a lot of sharks competing for the same small group of fish. And the blue oceans are, places that where there's plenty of fish and few predators. You want to be in the plenty of fish and few predators, which means you really need to specify what your business is and niche down. Because the wider your niche is, the bigger your niche is, the redder the ocean is, because there's more competitors in that space. But if you're really able to find your specialty group of people that you serve, that's constantly available to you. And so Blue Ocean Strategy does that. It's kind of a complex read. It's not even easier to listen to. I'll be quite honest with you. You're really going to have to take a sip of something strong, like coffee or something, double shot of espresso, and wake yourself up to pay attention. And that's when you're going to want to take notes on. 12 Months to 1 Million. I'm actually going to reread that one. I think there's good information. A lot of it's based on building a product out on Amazon, but basically talks about the concept of, how many products at a certain price point you need to sell every single month to make $1 million in a year. And it does give you good actionable information step by step. If you're looking at designing products, I can jump into that one too. So there's plenty of books. I guess what I'm saying all that to say this. There's lots of books that I've read that I'm kind of going through my list, and I'm kind of compiling what our next episode is going to be about on the book club. Not promising that the next episode of the live stream is going to be the book club, but it's going to be a recurring feature. And so I always have some book recommendations for y'all. And this kind of forces me to go through my book list and cultivate what I want to read and what I don't want to read. Like, I got some Grant Cardone stuff in here that I don't know if I want to read it or not. Give it a listen and see how good it is. But, Grant has his, sometimes he can be a little bit of a BS artist. It's good actionable information, but you take it with a grain of salt. So I'm just going through my list and seeing what I got here. But anyway, that's what I have, y'all. If this helped you out in any way, shape, or form, give me a like. If you want to see more book club stuff where I talk more in depth about a specific book, let me know. It's going to require me making notes and stuff like that and really coming in with a script so I can talk about the different, different points and themes in the book. But I'm always down for that. I'm a nerd about this stuff. I like to share my knowledge, and I like to share recommendations with the family. So that's what I got. Um, with our Unstuck service, we are still taking clients. You know, if you're stuck in your business or your marketing, go ahead and book a time with me and Brandy. We could sit down and figure out what your sticking points are and come up with a plan to remove them. Um, that's all I got. If you're interested in any further things regarding this book club idea, let me know. Hit me up, drop me a message. If you're just tuning in, go and start it from the beginning and kind of see what books I recommend. And hopefully you can use that list to kind of inform your journey. Like I said, this session was about books that can get you unstuck, or in some cases, just get you started. Um, Again, before you do anything else, if you're just starting out, go download The Personal MBA by Josh Kaufman. That's number one. That's the one you need to start with. That's all I got. Thanks for tuning in. I will talk to y'all later.